Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our official launching event. I'm Fatma Zahanat Zuhuri, the events executive of Maldives Moot Society and your moderator for this event. First, on behalf of Maldives Moot Society, I would like to thank the President and the Secretary General of Bar Council of the Maldives, respectively, Ustaz Mamun Hamid and Dr. Mariam Jabin, for joining us today. To start off this event, let's have a quick question and answer segment with the founder and president of Maldives Moot Society, Suma Ilyas. Please welcome Suma.
Thank you very much, Zahanat, for moderating today's event. Before we move on to the questions, I want to personally extend our gratitude to Ustaz Mamun Hamid, Dr. Mariam Jabin, and the enthusiastic legal community of Maldives for joining us today. Incorporation of Maldives Moot Court Society was heavily influenced by my mooting experience in Willem Seevis International Commercial Arbitration Moot. The moot was a new, exciting, and invaluable learning experience rooted firmly in real world advocacy. It taught me practical legal skills which is not taught inside a classroom. With that in mind, we incorporated Maldives Moot Court Society to provide the students in Maldives a platform and the opportunity to learn and develop practical legal skills. The most important thing students gain by mooting is perspective of extremely different sides to the same fact sheet. Experience in mooting will enable students to identify the relevant legal principles, construct the most compelling legal reasoning, draft clear skeleton arguments, and make oral submissions to the judge or tribunal with confidence. Mooting is the art of legal argument which gives the academic study of law life, and as with any art, it is a career long journey that should begin while you are a student. Our focus is not only mooting. We are also focused on strengthening the rule of law by conducting programs aimed to increase the understanding of national and international laws, cases, the legal process, and the role of legal profession. We will also provide the opportunity to connect and learn from the best by arranging interactive sessions and programs among like minded leaders, experienced academics, and professionals. We hope to directly impact the community at large by conducting programs which will aid in uplifting the legal community of Maldives. We invite the students, law schools, academics, professionals, and other organizations to perceive the suite of options for developing practical legal skills by collaborating with us to provide both the skills and value oriented legal education to law students and young lawyers entering the profession.
Thank you, Suma, for creating a much needed society in the Maldives. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce you all to Ustaz Mamun Hamid, the President of Bar Council of the Maldives. He's been in the field of law for over 15 years and specializes in various areas such as criminal defense, constitutional law, commercial law, and corporate law, just to name a few. Let's hear from Ustaz Mamun Hamid.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening. On behalf of the Bar Council of the Maldives, it is my absolute pleasure to speak at the launch of the Maldives Moot Court Society. I thank the founders of the Maldives Moot Court Society for inviting me to speak at this event. First off, let me commend the determination and vision that you, as the founders of the Maldives Moot Court Society, have demonstrated by your establishment of this society. Very clearly, it shows your commitment to promoting the art of mooting in the Maldives. Equally clearly, it shows your commitment to helping your fellow law students gain the most from their legal education. And in one sense, since the ultimate beneficiary is the legal profession itself, I thank you on behalf of the Bar Council for this initiative. To those of you who have joined the launch event, I'm sure that you are here because you already know the benefits of mooting. But let me also highlight just a few of the myriad ways in which you would benefit from taking part in moots. Most importantly, mooting hones your practical legal skills in a way that mere classroom teaching cannot. It introduces you to court process and procedure. It teaches you court decorum and how, as a lawyer, you are expected to conduct yourself as the officer of courts that you are. Practical courtroom experience allows you to understand how judicial proceedings work in practice and is one of the essential ways for a law student to gain proficiency prior to qualification as a lawyer. Very obviously, mooting helps your advocacy skills. It helps you become a convincing speaker, able to modify your arguments on the go. It will also help you understand your strengths and weaknesses. As an added benefit, it boosts your confidence. Obviously, not at the very beginning, but as they say, practice makes perfect. And if, like me, you're not a huge fan of public speaking, this is just the right way for you to enhance your public speaking skills. Equally importantly, mooting helps make you profession ready. It flows from the various benefits I've already mentioned. Prospective employers will no doubt see the benefit in hiring someone who has already demonstrated their competence in so many of the required skills. I'm sure that as you engage and progress in mooting, you will discover all these benefits and more for yourself. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you of some recent developments. Firstly, I have recently met with all the law schools in the Maldives to discuss how the Bar Council might better support legal education in the Maldives. I'm pleased to report that there was a meeting of minds in all aspects of the discussions we had. There is therefore every prospect of very fruitful collaboration between the Bar Council and schools of law in the Maldives. It is absolutely our intention that the Bar Council will do everything possible to enhance your experience and study of law. So we will be working with law firms and private practitioners as well as the courts and state institutions to see what additional opportunities may be provided to law students through the schools of law as well as directly. Secondly, the Bar Council being very keen to develop the art of mooting in the Maldives, we are looking to introduce and organize a national mooting competition that will hopefully help to promote mooting skills. We hope this will also allow you to more fully develop your mooting skills in preparation for taking part in regional and international moot competitions. We hope to see more teams from the Maldives participate in regional and international moot competitions. Thirdly, we hope to encourage law schools to both award credit for participating in mooting and also to find ways to incorporate mooting within the law school curriculum. We will be exploring all avenues to foster and promote mooting in the Maldives and will work with all interested parties, naturally including the Maldives Moot Court Society, to achieve this aim. It is my hope that with this launch of the Maldives Moot Court Society, more enthusiasm is generated in the Maldives for the art of mooting. I encourage all students in Maldivian schools of law to make full use of the very unique opportunity mooting offers to essentially make yourselves practice ready during your course of study. Wabillahi tawfiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ustaz Mamun Hamid, We're very grateful for the time you've taken to speak with us. Thank you very much for joining us today. Next, Ismail Hafiz, the Secretary General of Maldives Moot Court Society, will be giving us a presentation on moot court basics.
Hi everyone, let's look into some moot court basics, which includes the history of mooting, an introduction to mooting, and the benefits of mooting. First, we'll be looking into the history of mooting. Moots can be traced back to the 14th century in England, where it was conducted in the Inns of Courts. The purpose of the Inns of Courts was to train law students and assist them in becoming lawyers. These moots, which took place in the Inns of Courts, helped in passing down legal knowledge, as books were not that common during that time. So, what exactly is a moot? A moot simulates a court hearing where the participants first analyze the problem. The problem is similar to a real case file. It will consist of documents such as the claim form and the response, which is followed by exhibits such as contracts, email correspondences, witness statements, and any and all documents that can be submitted as evidence such as journal publications and bank statements. After you are given a moot problem, you will be required to do an extensive research on the applicable laws. Depending on the moot, the law applicable to the moot can vary from criminal law, commercial law, public international law, environment law, maritime law, to many other areas of law. Once the research is done, you will be required to make two submissions, one for the claimant and one for the respondent. The style, format, and length of the submission will vary depending on the competition. It could be as short as 5 pages or as long as 50 pages. The final and the most anticipated part of a moot competition is the oral arguments. This is where the participants have to be ready to argue on both sides, and a successful mooter is someone who is able to persuade the tribunal of their legal submissions with well-reasoned and logical arguments. Next, we will be looking into the benefits of mooting. As mooting is a simulation of how an actual case will proceed, it will definitely improve your research skills and aid in interpretation of laws from different perspectives. Mooting also aids in developing your legal writing skills, as you will receive months of vigorous training to perfect the memorandum submitted to the competition. Another benefit of mooting is that it improves your public speaking skills and helps you develop persuasive advocacy skills. Mooting also helps you develop your ability to think on your feet. This is because while you are presenting your arguments, you will be questioned by the judges, and in order to answer on the spot, you have to think on your feet and come up with a well-reasoned answer. As mooting makes you think and act as a lawyer in practice, it comes with several benefits, and certainly there can be no better activity than mooting for a law student. Thank you all for your time. We hope this presentation was informative and encourage all law students to take part in a moot competition at least once in the course of studies. Back to you, Zahanat.
Thank you, Hafiz, for the very informative presentation. Next, let me introduce you all to Dr. Mariam Jabin, the Secretary General of Bar Council of the Maldives. She is also the co-founder and the chairperson for the Equal Rights Initiative, as well as the National Administrator of Maldives for SARC law mooting competitions. Let's hear from Dr. Mariam Jabin.
Good evening. I applaud this much needed initiative and congratulate the founders for the establishment Maldives Moot Court Society, which I would say is a much desired development in the Maldives. The time we spend in law school is a critical point in our life, both in terms of our education, but also the age at which we are, which are our formative years, and lays down the foundations for who we really are and who we will become. And we soon realize that what we have mostly acquired at law schools is not pure knowledge, but skills to acquire and apply that knowledge. For a large majority of the law students, mooting is where we see theory meet practice. And for the very first time, they're about to think about hard law from the perspective of an organization, a group of people, or a vulnerable individual. This is indeed the best way to learn because you, as a learner, you become the primary focus of the educational experience. Through engagement with the scenarios, you're not merely absorbing and recording information and knowledge anymore, but you are in the process of knowledge construction. You are current knowledge to create new knowledge, and you also learn that learning is highly tuned to the situation in which it takes place. Mooting allows students to think from the perspectives of the clients, procedures and tactics to be employed, and at the same time, and most importantly, professionalism and professional standards to be followed in courtrooms. Mooting is not just important for courtroom skills. The two biggest things mooting can provide students who participate, number one would be enhancing their self-confidence, and number two, the impact on their perspectives on issues. They will no longer only think from one side of a case, but rather two sides of a case, and possibly also start thinking about the larger implications of decisions on the matter, and also about those who are not involved in the legal proceedings in a particular case. It must be noted that efforts to create a mooting culture in the Maldives had begun at the Maldives College of Higher Education, Faculty of Sharia and Law in the early 2000s itself, and although small, a range of mooting-related activities were organized for the students on an ad hoc basis. This included conducting sessions on lawyers' professional ethics and on advocacy skills development, whereby members of the bar were invited and they had facilitated these sessions for the students. In the mid-2000s, we also saw the implementation of the first FSL mooting competition, which all students were required to go through, although not necessarily as part of requirement of their law degree program, but to complete the participation in a faculty-organized internal mooting competition. It is also noteworthy that law students from the Maldives have participated in international mooting competitions since 2007. And we are now seeing more and more participation from the Maldives and participation from more than one law school from the Maldives in these international competitions. Having been part of the faculty initiatives in the mid-2000s and currently a judge at the Professor N.R. Madhva Menon SARC Law Mooting competition for the past 4 years, and also having seen participation and engagement from various law schools in the region, and with my research in clinical legal education and enhancing lawyering skills for law students, I think we stand at an ideal point in time to create dialogue on the importance of being serious about lawyering skills, the possibilities with mooting for law students, and promoting and fostering these initiatives in the Maldives. In many law schools in the world, students can participate by application and competitive selection only, and therefore is not an opportunity that is available for the entire law batch. These programs usually offer students the chance to work on unpredictable and forefront issues, questions of law, and requires thorough preparation, participation in recognized international and local competitions. Students are expected to attend moot training sessions and then to undertake intensive research and prepare written submissions and develop oral submissions, which are then refined through multiple mooting practice sessions. This is an ongoing effort and needs continued practice to harness these skills. Unfortunately, skills building is yet to be a primary focus for many law schools in the world, including many in the Maldives. And this means that university budgets are still limited when it comes to funding mooting teams, mooting efforts, advocacy trainings, and so forth. However, to make sufficient progress, it is really important to either to introduce mooting as a law school course or at least a compulsory module to be completed, which will ensure that students have continuity in skills development while at law school, and also at the same time, we also have an efficient system in place to identify teams to represent the Maldives in international competitions. Last but not the least, I also think that we are also in the right point or the right place in time for partnerships. We have a number of law schools in the Maldives offering both locally approved law programs, and external programs from overseas universities. They have a professional body that sets standards for the bar and regulate the legal profession, and at the same time are committed to support legal education and legal education initiatives in the Maldives. We have experienced mooters in the Maldives, and we also, with the establishment of the Maldives Moot Court Society, we also have interested law students and civil society organizations to create and build this culture in the Maldives. As a student-led civil society initiative, the Maldives Moot Court Society, I think, has a special role to play to work with the law schools and also other potential stakeholders to plan, train, and execute activities to create a strong tradition of mooting for students in the local law schools. I would like to end my words by once again congratulating the founders. I'm very excited about this, and I wish you and the organization all the best with your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mariam Jabin, for taking the time to speak with us on the importance of developing a mooting culture in the Maldives. With that, our launching event has come to an end. We are just getting started and we look forward for the law community to join us as we have many activities planned ahead, both locally and internationally. Our many appreciations to the guest speakers and the law community of Maldives for joining us today. And we welcome you all to join us on our journey towards creating and sustaining a mooting culture in the Maldives. Thank you all very much.